Hey there, and welcome to my newest course, Build Your First Laravel App, where I'm going to help you get your feet wet with web development and build your own complete first mini web application using Laravel, which is a PHP framework. So throughout this course, you're going to build a sample, smaller web application just to store movies that you've seen before and your own reviews of them. So in the course, we're going to cover how to set up your own complete web development environment on your own computer, the basics of web applications and how they function at a high level, and then obviously how to build your own complete sample web application. So you come out of the course with your own fully functioning web application that you built on your own in just a week. But with that said, I just want to give you a quick heads up that because this is a shorter course, there are some things that we won't be able to cover. We won't be able to dive deep into some of the web application concepts, and I'll only be able to show you how to build a smaller application, so needless to say, we won't be able to get into all the aspects of building a full web application. But those are all things that I cover in my full online course, From Idea to Launch. So if you like the stuff that we go through in this course, there'll be a lot more for you to dive into afterwards, and I'll tell you more about that later on. But for now, welcome. So in this first lesson, you're going to set up your development environment. What is a development environment? When you're building a web application, you need certain pieces of software installed on your computer that let you run the code that you write. And those pieces of software comprise what's known as your development environment. In this case, we're working with PHP, and to run all of our code, we can just install one nicely packaged suite of software called MAMP. So let's go ahead and do that now. Just fire up your browser. We can just Google for MAMP, M-A-M-P. We can click through to the MAMP site and go to the download section right up here at the top. And then right down here, this MAMP and MAMP Pro. So it auto detects your operating system. I'm on a Mac, so I'm just going to click this big download button here. If you're on Windows, you'd probably have this one highlighted. And again, just a big orange download button. So download that. And I actually already have that downloaded, so I'm gonna head over to my Finder. There it is right there. And then you're just gonna double click to install it. So MAMP stands for My Apache, MySQL, and PHP. And those last three things, Apache, MySQL, and PHP, are the three pieces of software that we need to install for your web application to work. Apache is the web server. It lets your browser access your application. MySQL is the name of the database server, and we'll talk more about databases in a few lessons. And PHP is actually the program that lets all of your PHP code run. So let's go ahead and install MAMP. We can walk through and basically just use all the defaults. Agree to their terms, and just click install. You might need to enter an administrative password. Should only take a couple minutes. All right, so that's all set. Let's go test everything out. All right, so in my case, I'm on a Mac, so I can just open up Finder, go to my applications, and find the new MAMP program that was just installed. You don't need to worry about this MAMP Pro. That's their, as you could guess, Pro software. We'll just be using the basic MAMP right here. And if you open up this MAMP folder, you can double click on the MAMP program right here. And just uncheck this check for MAMP Pro and just click Launch MAMP right here. All right, and this is its little control panel right here. I'm also going to pin this to my dock so that it's easily accessible. And you'll find, if you're on Windows, you'll find MAMP you should find it in your Start menu. So open up MAMP and you'll have a control panel that looks like this. And before we fire everything up, let's go to Preferences. and then click ports up here, the second tab. And these two, this Apache port and MySQL port, should read 8888 and 8889 respectively. If they don't, click this Set MAMP Ports to Default button, and then click OK. And then you can click Start Servers. And this is going to start up the Apache and MySQL servers. And you'll see that as soon as it does that successfully, it'll give us these green indicators up the top right. So looks like it started MySQL, and it has started Apache. Okay, and just by default, because this is the first time we opened it up, it automatically loaded up in our browser the MAMP start page. So you can see up here in your address bar that the address of this reads localhost: 8888. So what that means is it's actually accessing this its own welcome page off your own computer, running with all of the MAMP software. This local host refers to your personal computer, so that means it's pointing to something on your own computer. And this 8888 is the port that we just set, that Apache port. So if we go back into preferences for a second, Apache port, you can see right here is 8888. And again, Apache's the web server, so that's the port it needs to access and display this web page. We'll explore some more of the things that it installed later on in the later lessons, but you can see that right here it installed PHP and MySQL as well. It gives us connection info for PHP, which we'll dig into in a couple lessons, and this PHP info link shows us that PHP is running properly, which is great. So now all the software we're going to need to run our code and create our application is installed. But what about writing that code? So to write your code, you're going to want to install what's called a source code editor. And a source code editor is basically just a superpowered text editor that's specifically designed for programming. And my favorite editor by far is called Sublime Text. So I'm going to point you towards that. So if you just Google for Sublime Text and go to their website, you'll see this big download button right here. Mine says for OS X because that's what I'm on. If you're on Windows, it'll say download for Windows. It should detect it automatically. So just download this and install it using all the defaults. And I've already done that. So you can, after it's installed, you can open up Sublime Text and it should look something like this. Again, it's basically just a text editor, but it does all kinds of cool things that I'll be showing you throughout these next few lessons that makes it super ideal for programming. All right, that's it for this lesson. You're all set up. Next time, you're going to start by creating your initial Laravel application. Stay tuned.